August was our first month with a significant income reduction, and that made things a bit tricky. So I'm going to go through all of the details in our August 2020 budget report. So let's just jump right in here and talk about how August went. First of all, I'm late getting this posted because if you didn't hear, the last 5 weeks of my life has been consumed by COVID. Just to give you a brief, I'm going to do a separate video on this, but just to give you a brief summary, my parents both became infected with COVID in mid-August. I went to their home on August 24th and I was gone for 25 days. I also, while caring for them, became infected with COVID. My father and I both had to be hospitalized at different times, and I finally came home on September 18th, and I am at the tail end of my recovery, and so you may see that I get out of breath or I might cough. I try to edit that out as much as I can, but it is my reality today. Just as soon as a week ago, I couldn't speak in full sentences because I couldn't catch my breath to do it. I didn't have enough. So that is why we are doing this so late in the month, and it won't be long before I'm doing the September report. But let's jump into August and talk about how August went for us. So first of all, I always black out our income from our regular salaries. And so I don't have any problem showing the totals, but this month Matt's income was drastically reduced because he has been on a leave of absence since the middle of July. And we knew that. I planned for that going into August. We knew that we weren't going to have a whole bunch of income that we normally have. And you can see here that we planned on $6,491, but after we brought in money from sinking funds and then also from the budget bounce, because I did have some income, then we came to a total of $8,290 in our income bucket, which was just about $1,800 more than what we originally planned. Now, notice that we didn't pull anything in from our emergency fund, and that is a huge accomplishment for us. We were able to bridge the gap with our sinking funds. So we didn't have to tap into that yet. That was fantastic. So again, our bucket is $8,290. In gifts, we planned on $65 and we ended up only spending $60. In housing, we were right on target. We were just off by a few cents. Our mortgage was $1,054. Utilities for gas and electric were $135. Our quarterly utilities for water, garbage, sewer were $226. Our mobile services was $185 and our internet was $101, bringing the total to $1,703. In transportation, we spent more on gas than we originally planned. We planned on $200, we spent $336. So some things that happened in August that kind of came up at the last minute, we decided to go on a trip to visit my sister. And then also, there were at least 3 trips to my hometown, if not 4. And that's all related to me going down there on August 24th to help take care of my parents. So, those were all in the last week of the month where between Matt and I, we were going back and forth quite a bit driving around. So the total is $440 for transportation, which is $119 more than what we originally planned. You can see here we were right on track with OnStar, and also we had some repairs to the Traverse that we thought would be a little more than they were. So this turned out better than what we thought it would. All right, and moving on to food, you can see we were under in groceries by $106, but we were over in dining by $217. We ended up coming out just $11 over our total budget, but this is absolutely a reflection of me being gone for the last week of the month and how Matt and Henry handled food during that last week. And also we had already gone over the $100, I think, before I left. So them eating out quite a bit just contributed more to that. We didn't have any expenses related to Henry in August. And then moving on to pets, we had a lot more than we planned. So nothing for grooming. We had $93 for food, $46 for meds, $262 for the vet, and $176 for other supplies. So the meds were for, okay, so food is us still trying to figure out how to adjust Bella's food, our dog. We just have not been able to get our arms around that. Meds were for antibiotics because, and then the vet visit here, there was an actual vet visit that cost $207 that were both for Bella. And that's because she got pneumonia again. And it's the second time in 4 months that she got pneumonia. She has a condition called mega esophagus that was just diagnosed in May. She was 9 years old. We always knew she had an issue with her esophagus. We just didn't know what it was. And when she got pneumonia in May, they did some ultrasounds and saw that she has this. So anyone with mega esophagus, human or animal or human, they need gravity on their side. What happens is your muscles in your esophagus don't work properly, so it's always open and it won't contract and move things down the pipe to get it into your stomach. And so we had found out about this thing that in other supplies we paid $176. It's called the Bailey chair. And I'll insert some video here so you can see what that looks like, but it's custom made to fit your dog. And it sits them upright, and then you put their food here or you feed them. And so the gravity is working for them to get it down to their stomach. So anyway, we went ahead and purchased one of those for her when she got pneumonia again. So that brought our total to $578 for the month. And that was $473 over what we originally planned. In insurance, you'll see here in the first 3 lines, we paid more than what we planned. And the reason for that is because we have to pay. So Matt's deductions aren't coming out of his check because he doesn't have a check. Okay. So the way that it works, it took a little bit for them to get all of that going and to notify us what we needed to pay. And so by the time they got it to us, they needed us to pay for 3 paychecks, which is 1.5 months. That's why these are so much more. So when you look down here, he didn't have to pay anything for union dues because he didn't have a check, and this didn't come out either because he didn't have a check, but we came out at a total of $979, which was $169 more than what we originally planned. In entertainment, we had $20 for streaming, $3 for HP Inc. We didn't have anything come out for Cinemark, and we didn't spend anything on family entertainment. So we spent a total of $23, which was $10 under our original budget. In health, we didn't have anything really exciting here. $437.50 for flexible spending like normal, $72 total for the gym, and then $56 for healthcare, bringing the total to $565, which was just under what we originally planned. In extras, I had my first trip to get my hair done in 5 months. So I got my hair cut and my brows done, and that with tip cost $52. Then we had our trip to visit my sister, and then we had some expenses for the kids. All of this was covered by sinking funds. We pulled money out for that. So $240 total for extras, and we didn't have anything, and crap, I forgot about that in August, which was great. In envelopes, I spent 27 of my spending money. Matt pulled out all 80 for him. In household, we spent 206 instead of 50. And in miscellaneous, we spent 174 instead of 50. So that brought our total to 488, which is 268 more than what we originally planned. I mean, we've spent more than double what we originally planned. So I will tell you that a big chunk of this was for canning supplies. I had no idea how much I was going to need to can. I did that for the first time this year, and I didn't have enough supplies for it, and I had to buy more jars and lids and all kinds of things, and also some accessories and that kind of thing, and it just ended up being way more expensive than I anticipated. So 488 was the total. Oh, and we also had to buy some equipment. The household, I think, is where this is. We had to buy a saw an electric saw for Matt because we lost a tree. If you guys heard about the derecho that came through the Midwest in early August, we were impacted by that. One of our trees, like half of it came down. It fell on the house. There wasn't any damage to the house. The insurance isn't paying anything to remove it or anything because there was no damage. But we did need to get some equipment so that Matt could work on getting that cut down and into size and all that so we can get rid of it all. So that's an ongoing project that not me, but that Matt is still working on. All right, next up is the budget bounce. And you can see here that I spent $397 on education. That was an investment into a course that I have been eyeing for a year and a half. And I had finally earned enough money through the budget bounce to pay for it. So I purchased it. And it was also on sale. It's normally $597. Equipment. This is for a new webcam that I haven't figured out how to use yet. It came while I was at my parents'. And then I got sick and now I'm home and I've got my studio set back up again, but I cannot figure out how to set up this webcam. So hopefully my picture will be better that's the goal, is that my picture will be a lot better when you're seeing me once I get the webcam going. And then subscriptions. This is just my normal monthly subscriptions that I have. So the total was $487 and all of that was paid for by the budget bounce. In savings, because of everything that we had going on, we only planned on doing my 401k out of my check. We did end up putting a little bit, I keep forgetting I started this M1 finance thing in July and I had just set it up. So I just don't want to stop it and have to restart it. And then we put a little bit in for our daughter into her fund. So that brought the total to $380 that we did in savings in August. And of that, we did pull out some money also for our daughter and give that to her. She's been doing some stuff around the house for us. So we've just been keeping it in a fund for her. And then when she needs it, we just pull it out and give it to her. So our total liquid savings right now is $4,836 in these three accounts. And notice again, we didn't have to use our emergency fund at all in August. So we were really pleased with that. All right, next up we have our sinking funds, and you can tell we have a whole lot of different sinking funds, but you can also see that we only planned on putting money in 2 of them, and that was because of the fact that we didn't have much of Matt's income. So, excuse me, we put in $230 to our auto insurance, and we put $81 into our life insurance sinking fund, and nothing else. So we did $311 for the month. And then you can see here what we spent. So we pulled $226 out for our quarterly city utilities, which is the water, garbage, sewer. We pulled some money out for, I think that was for shoes for Matt. I pulled out money for my hair appointment. Now let me move myself again. All of these down here, the $335, that was to bridge the gap. So I pulled everything out of our one check ahead. We'd made some progress, but we needed it now, not later. So I pulled that out. The pet expense, that was used to help pay for some of the expenses for Bella. Technology, this was because we actually bought a different phone for Matt and it cost $100. TBB, this was my sinking fund for that I pulled. That was part of my $400 and some in sinking funds up there. Plus we had TBB income from another account. Then vacation, I pulled $400 out there because, obviously we're not going anywhere and we needed it now. So that was to bridge the gap. And then $82.90 was pulled out for the work that was done on the Traverse. So that brought the total to $1,487, which is reflected up here in the income, along with the money that we pulled out for our kiddos. So that's our sinking funds. You can see here we have a total of $6,261 remaining at the end of August in our sinking funds, which was great because we needed them again in September. So let's move on and talk about our debt. So our debts, the list is so long. I have 3 different sections, 3 of them. The first one is the paid off section. These are debts that are 100% paid off. We're not dealing with them anymore. The middle section is those that are charged off. And then the third section is are actively paying. So I'll go through each one of these. You can see our totals here for our 100% paid off is $31,502. There are, I believe, a total of 12 of them here. Oh, 20. There's 20 total here. Whoop. In this section, there's 20. So they total $31,502. Then we have the charged off section, which is $9,547. And you'll notice here you see pink font and black font in different places. The reason why we did that was because Matt wanted to differentiate between things that were his debts and things that had my name on them. And so the way that I did that was to change the font color. I just made me pink. And you notice all of these are black. These are all old credit cards that Matt had. And they're all long gone. They're 2 and 3 times at new collections agencies, who've bought the debt and trying to recoup it. So we're at $9,547 for that. And at some point we will deal with that, but we are not dealing with them right now. So now moving on to our actively paying section, we have a total of $174,888. We have this ambulance bill that we paid $20 on. This is a Care credit card. We paid $50. This is a Capital One credit card. We paid $25. This is a private student loan. We paid $50. This is my Lowe's card, $190. This is our HELOC that we use to pay off our big credit card. We paid $200. Our car payment is $550. Normally we pay about $755 in child support, but because Matt's not working, nothing was paid to child support during the month of August. And to be clear, this is back child support. So all the kids are over the age, they're all 19 or older now. So there's no current child support. This is him paying on the back child support, trying to get all of that paid off. And then we have our family loan of $200, and then student loans have been deferred and there's no interest right now. So we didn't pay anything to those. Prior to August, when we lost this income, what we were doing with the student loan money, we were paying $225 a month. Instead, I was putting that in the emergency fund, but we just didn't have anything extra this month to do that. So our total debts paid were $1,285. So let's see here. Let me go down here and look at the totals. So our total income was $8,290. Our total expenses were $8,255. Excuse me. Which leaves us, we had $35 left over, and that's okay. We just leave it in the account. When you look over here, we started our month at the beginning of August with $185,603 in debt. We did have to pay $208 in interest. When it was all said and done, our balance was $184,435. Now let's look at these totals. So this number, the $263,000, this is our total debt where we started at the beginning. This month we killed off, like gone for good, $1,167 in debt. And so that is this number minus this number. It takes into account the interest. So that was the total amount. This number right here is 20.7% of our regular salaries is what we paid to debt this month. And then our total debt paid to date is $78,922. And that is right at 30% of our total debt. So we've wiped out 30% of it, and we still have 70% to go, but it's pretty exciting to see that 30% of it is gone. And the fact that this is gone is what has made this time when Matt had to take a leave of absence that was unpaid, it's made it a lot easier to manage. So we did okay this month, and even though our debt payoff and savings was much lower than normal, we didn't have to go into any debt to get through the month, and we didn't have to get into our emergency fund. We were able to use what was in our sinking funds that had been bulked up. So we feel like we did okay given the huge reduction in our income. Now, September, I'm filming this and posting this at the end of September. So most of September is already done, and it's more of the same, and it got even more complicated with our income during this month. So you'll want to be sure to watch that when I get that posted in early October, because with the COVID situation, with caring for my parents and then becoming sick myself, it really, really had a big impact on our finances. Me being gone for 25 days had a big impact on our finances. So next up, I'm going to be talking about budgeting for the holidays. So click on this video right down here and I'll meet you over there to talk all about it.